Hi, my name is Maxime Durand. I'm the franchise historian for Assassin's Creed and also the content director for the Discovery Tour Ancient Greece.
So here you present the Discovery Tour. What is it all about?
So the Discovery Tour is a new medium for immersive virtual visiting of the past. The idea here is that you can go any places in ancient Greece to visit monuments, meet historical characters, see daily life aspects at your own pace. It uses the medium of a video game, but it's not a traditional video game. Here, it's more that you can explore on your own, you can follow visits, and there's no pressure, there's no performance also, so anybody can use the Discovery Tour.
What can you learn in this game, for example?
So there are many things you can learn from the Discovery Tour. Obviously, you can learn history. We also talk a lot about archaeology, and ultimately we talk a lot about sources of information. We talk about how information is given, how it is taken. So we show, for instance, artifacts. We talk about sources of the past, ancient writers like Herodotus or Pausanias, for instance. So these are all aspects you can learn in the Discovery Tour.
So is this a free roaming tour, or is it like guided, or how does it work?
The way it works is that either you can follow on one of the 30 tours that are available. These are tours that talk about archaeology, architecture, they talk about battles, about daily life aspects. Or if you want, you can go into more an exploration mode, where here you have hundreds of unique stations that you have to find in the world, and you're rewarded by knowledge. So it's really about exploring, about having a free pace for yourself.
You had a similar kind of Discovery Tour for the last Assassin's Creed game about Egypt. What are the main differences in this new version?
So in this new Discovery Tour Ancient Greece, there are many new features. I'd say some of the things that people will notice at first is that now you have guides. So these are fictive and historical characters like King Leonidas or Herodotus, the father of history. And so you meet these characters, they have a very personal touch when they explain tours to yourself. And then when you meet them again at the end of the tour, they offer you to take on a quiz and test your knowledge. They're not mandatory, but at least it's a very more interesting way to get you to test your knowledge and see if you've been paying attention.
How did you do the research for this Discovery Tour?
So the research on creating a Discovery Tour is that we are based off the main map from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and over that map we add tours, and tours are created by historians. So we have many professors and curators from museums that write the content, and with our help we try to make the best experience for players, so we keep the most interesting facts and the most pertinent facts for visitors, and ultimately everyone is very happy about the outcome because people learn and visit ancient Greece.
How accurate is the history that you present? Do you take freedom while presenting it?
So the game environment itself is extracted from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So there are freedoms that are taken to create that game environment. It's artistic liberties, technical constraints, or even sometimes it's because we don't know something in history, and yet the team has to present something that is full and complex. So we have this game environment, and then when you go into the Discovery Tour, the tours themselves are created by historians, and we make sure that the content that we're providing to players is very up to date and is out of debate. And one last thing to mention here is that we want to promote critical thinking, and we believe that, for instance, schools that are using the Discovery Tour in a classroom will benefit a lot from having their teacher to ask these questions, to understand that what they see on screen might be true or not true, and they'll have to discuss about this.
Can you give an example for this kind of freedom that you took?
So when you go on the Acropolis in the Discovery Tour, you follow on the tour, and we'll tell you that the statue of Athena Promachos is 10 meters high. Ultimately, when you look at it in the game, it's much higher than 10 meters high, so it's maybe 30, 40 meters high. This is explained by the fact that in the game we want players to see it from a very long distance. Actually, this is also backed by ancient writings that said that you could see the statue from Cape Sunion, which is some 70 kilometers away from Athens. So we did take some liberties, but at the same time we tried to convey information also for players.
So how can teachers integrate this experience in their lessons?
So the Discovery Tour is meant to be an addition to the tools of teachers. It can be used for students that are aged 12, 14s, or even at university level. They're used very different ways. One of the things that is interesting is that either a teacher can play in front of the classroom with his own console, or the teacher can have his students or her students to play the Discovery Tour alone or in teams of many people. And this way they can ask themselves questions, look at the Discovery Tour, and then answer these questions and talk about them.
What would you say is the biggest, or was the biggest challenge in producing this experience?
The biggest challenge in making a Discovery Tour is that you have so many historical information that you can use, and as a historian I think everything's interesting, but ultimately there's just so much we can produce for the video game experience. So cutting down away all the historical information or trimming it down is always very frustrating, but in the end I'm super happy about the outcome.
So what is your personal favorite lesson within this tour?
I think I prefer everything, but if I had to pinpoint one, I would say that the tour on the perfume is one of my favorite, because I like the character Marcos that tells it. It's very personal, and it makes you realize how smells were important in antiquity, how mythology is linked to all of these elements. So these are all unsuspected elements, and this is what you can find in the Discovery Tour, things that you are not expecting all the time.
Okay, thank you very much.